Best thing about being a rugby coach is that rugby was a hobby for me, and to still be doing it after finishing playing, I feel pretty privileged to do something like that.
It's when we win on a Friday night and the crowd are really happy.
Worst thing is that you can't play anymore, and the minute the players cross that whitewash, you feel very vulnerable, and obviously you rely on them, so there's huge frustration comes with it.
Ultimately, you try and get players to buy into how we play the game, and ultimately to be disciplined around staying and complying to the contest, and also not getting frustrated when certain circumstances do not evolve.
Getting the props and the thick locks to understand what you're trying to do at line-outs and lift accurately.
It's probably a coaching element is managing people, not necessarily coaching, managing some egos, managing some people that are more insecure, and dealing with that is probably harder than actually coaching the actual game. I find the game very simple, but it's made complicated sometimes by different individuals and how they cope with pressure. Pressure tends to make people very insecure, goes insular, and has a little bit of a blame culture, and I think you've always got to be aware of defeats can come out like that.
Generally, I mean, it's like to view younger players by myself, but clearly these days, it's so involved in competitions that you don't get to see a lot of the up and coming talent as much as that I used to. So you're very reliant on other people giving you that information. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I like to actually meet the person individually, as well as see him play on the rugby field, and just identify a lot more about his character. His commitment, and just his family background and all those sorts of things are very helpful in terms of if you are going to invest in the individual, you need to know exactly everything about him so that you've got a good starting point.
Well, I think our expectations are high, and we as a team haven't achieved that just yet, but continually working to please the fans every week.
Both parties, a coach or a supporter, all think the same. I think every supporter wants commitment and passion to play for the team that they pay their money to go and watch. If a player and a coach show that kind of passion, then generally the realistic targets are the same. Everyone can have different ones, but I think they are realistic to who you're playing against and how you achieve them. But I think in general, if people show that they're willing to fight for everything, then any supporter will always, come back and watch you if you give your all.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, is just seeing the boys disappointed. I think is probably the most hardest thing to accept, and the disappointment of all the people that put stuff into the program and into the team, because ultimately we as players and coaches sort of understand how to get there, whereas everyone around us lives in hope. And that's probably the hardest thing, because those people who live in hope, they've got no control over the situation, whereas we do have. But and when performance doesn't go to plan, it's quite hard to get people back up again. It takes a lot of energy out of you.